If you ask muscle car enthusiasts about the most legendary Camaros of the late 1960s, you'll hear plenty of stories. Someone in California might tell you about a ZL1 that dominated their local strip, while racers in Detroit might brag about their Copo cars ruling Woodward Avenue. But there was one dealer-modified Camaro that became a street racing legend straight from the showroom floor. We're talking about the tire-shredding 450 horsepower 1969 Yenko Camaro. These weren't just ordinary Camaros with a few bolt-on parts. Each one was a carefully crafted machine that could outrun practically anything else on the street. And if you were lucky enough to spot one at a stoplight, you knew you were about to witness something special. With a massive 427 cubic inch V8 under the hood and the kind of power that made most muscle cars of the era look tame, the Yenko Camaro wasn't just another dealer special. It was the kind of car that created legends and sparked fierce debates about the fastest cars of the muscle car era that continue even today. In a small town called Canonsburg, Pennsylvania, there was a Chevrolet dealership that would change the muscle car landscape forever. Don Yenko wasn't your typical car dealer. He was a racer at heart who understood exactly what performance enthusiasts wanted. While other dealers were happy just selling what GM sent them, Yenko had bigger plans. He had already made a name for himself by turning humble Corvairs into track-ready machines, and his Nova conversions had street racers lining up at his doorstep. But it was his relationship with GM's Central Office Production Order, better known as Copo, that would cement his legacy. This special ordering system was originally designed for fleet vehicles and special equipment, but Yenko saw it as something else entirely, a loophole in GM's corporate policy that would let him create some of the most powerful Camaros ever to wear a bow tie badge. By working directly with GM through the Copo system, Yenko could order factory-fresh Camaros with the exact specifications he needed for his high-performance builds. What made this partnership even more special was that these cars would maintain their factory warranty coverage, something unheard of for heavily modified muscle cars of the era. The 1969 Camaro SS that rolled off GM's assembly line was already a respectable machine, but for hardcore enthusiasts, it still left something to be desired. GM's self-imposed limit of 400 cubic inches in their intermediate cars meant that even the hottest factory SS396 Camaro couldn't quite keep up with the big block offerings from Mopar and Ford. The base Camaro SS came with a 350 cubic inch V8 that made decent power, but nothing that would set the world on fire. Even with the optional 396 big block, you were still looking at a car that, while quick, wasn't exactly the king of the street. The Camaro's beautiful styling and excellent handling made it a favorite among young buyers. But in the stoplight-to-stoplight battles that dominated the muscle car scene, cubic inches were king. And that's where the regular Camaro SS, despite its good looks and solid performance, fell short. It was positioned perfectly to compete with cars like the Mustang GT and Plymouth Roadrunner. But for those who wanted the ultimate in straight-line performance, the factory options just weren't enough. This limitation wasn't lost on Don Yenko. In fact, it was exactly the opportunity he'd been waiting for. What really set the Yenko Camaro apart was what happened once it arrived at Yenko Chevrolet. Starting at $4,200, nearly $1,000 more than a regular SS, you got far more than just a fancy badge and some stripes. The heart of every Yenko Camaro was the legendary L72 427 cubic inch V8, an engine that turned the already quick Camaro into a genuine street terror. But Yenko knew that dropping a big engine into a car wasn't enough. These cars needed to handle all that power. Every car got mandatory heavy-duty suspension upgrades, a special order 140mm speedometer that actually needed every one of those numbers, and those distinctive Yenko graphics that let everyone know this wasn't just another Camaro. But that was just the starting point. If you had deeper pockets, Yenko would build you something even more special. You could option different transmission packages, beefed up rear axles, and custom interior features that made each car unique. The really serious customers could even order race-prepared engines and special order performance parts that weren't available anywhere else. Every single modification was carefully thought out and installed by mechanics who understood exactly what these cars were built for. The conversion process itself was a work of art. It wasn't just about swapping in a bigger engine. The entire car had to be balanced and tuned to handle the massive increase in power. Special consideration was given to everything from the way the hood clearance was modified to accommodate the big block, to the strengthening of key suspension components. These weren't just modified Camaros, they were completely re-engineered performance machines. Today, the 1969 Yenko Camaro stands as one of the most sought-after muscle cars ever created. Out of just 201 units built that year, each surviving example tells a story of American muscle car innovation and raw performance. These weren't just fast cars, they were game changers that proved what was possible when passionate enthusiasts pushed the boundaries of factory performance. The impact of these cars went far beyond their production numbers. They showed other dealers that there was a market for ultra-high-performance specialty cars, inspiring countless imitators and competitors. But none quite captured the magic of what Yenko had created. The value of these cars today reflects their legendary status. A well-documented Yenko Camaro can command prices well into six figures at auction, with the rarest examples pushing past the $1 million mark. But it's not just about the money. These cars represent a unique moment in automotive history when a small-town Chevrolet dealer could build cars that would compete with, and often beat, the best that Detroit's engineers could produce. The Yenko name became synonymous with ultimate performance, and the legacy of these cars continues to influence the world of high-performance vehicles even today. Every modern dealer-modified muscle car, every specialty performance package, owes a little bit of its existence to what Don Yenko and his team created in that small Pennsylvania dealership back in 1969. And that's why the Yenko Camaro remains one of the most incredible stories of the muscle car era. Thank you for watching another episode of our Rare Cars documentary series. If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of America's most legendary dealer specials, make sure to like and subscribe for more content about rare muscle cars.